I had fun with bold predictions the other night. Tonight, mixed bag, I shall say. Mixed bag. First bold prediction, as it turns out, this wasn't from August. It was from all the way back in May. So it was a long time, even before August, when we made these. But you submitted them, and here's what you said. First one was from Dylan. Ohio State and Michigan will both make the college football playoff. Boom! It hit, and I put a 9 on this. Boo! Now, we did a segment earlier in the show where we spotlighted alleged hypocrisy of mine. No, you want to know hypocrisy. How about reading that prediction in May, saying it's a 9 on the boldness scale, and then proceeding to predict Ohio State and Michigan both to make the playoff 2 months later? Because that's exactly what I did. As I said, and I will continue to say, my feelings are very fluid. They change by the hour. So I thought this was bold in May. I ended up loving it, and it happened, for the record. It happened. So good for Dylan, and good for me. Just not the May version of me. Next up, this one hit too. Cougar Hunter, I'll leave that alone, said that Oklahoma and Texas are way overhyped. I think we see someone else win the Big 12 this season. Friends, someone else won the Big 12 this season, and it was not TCU. If you're like me, you have a bad habit of misremembering how the Big 12 played out. Now, Kansas State won the conference. TCU went to the playoff. Neither of whom are Oklahoma or Texas. OU and Texas were 1-2 in the preseason odds. I called this a 7 on the boldness scale only because it's the Big 12. So nothing is crazy in the Big 12 because everything is already crazy. Therefore, no prediction is crazy. And remember, we were just coming off a year. At this point, we were coming off a year where Baylor, with like the second to longest odds in all of the field, had won the Big 12 the year before. So we did a segment close to this where someone asked, is anyone going to win 10 games in the Big 12? That's how bunched up it looked like the conference was going to be. And as a result, we had another unpredictable finish. Neither Texas nor OU in the Big 12 championship game. Speaking of a neither nor, let's talk about the Heisman for just a second. Because one of you said that neither C.J. Stroud nor Bryce Young will be Heisman finalists for this upcoming season. And I made the caveat at the time, we have to remove injury because we're not going to predict injury. So this only counts if both of them are healthy. Bryce Young missed some time, so he did not go to New York City. C.J. Stroud did go to New York City. I just asked, if there's not injury in the equation, how are you keeping them out of New York? At least one of them. Not only are they just good enough, but also we were entering a season where 7 of the previous 10 Heisman finalists were moving on. So the field was wide open. They were the preeminent favorites, and C.J. Stroud played like he should, and Bryce Young, even in a down year, if he played all year, probably would have been a Heisman finalist. So I didn't know how this was going to go. I picked it as a 9 on the boldness scale. I saw no path where neither of them made the finals. Nor did I see a path for this next one. Auburn was bad, but Bradley suggested Auburn is going to go 0-8 in conference play. I put an 8.5 on this one because, as I said, even in the worst of years, it's rare for a program as proud and as talented as Auburn to just flatline the whole year. And that's exactly how it went. They were bad, but there was this little blip in week 4 against Missouri. And there was this little blip against Texas A&M. And in those games, they scored a combined 30 points, but they won both of them somehow against Missouri, and everyone beat A&M. So that 2 conference wins. They were terrible. They didn't make a bowl, but even then, the Auburn Tigers still won 2 conference games. I call that one an 8 on the boldness scale, 8.5, I think. That was going to be tough. And lastly, I have to be careful with this one. The prediction was a first-year head coach is 100% taking his squad to the playoff. There are too many good coaches from Hollywood, Florida. I was surprised today when I saw what the boldness rating was I put on this. I put a 3 on it. As it turns out, the May version of me thought that it was a slam dunk. There were too many good first-year head coaches. One of these guys is going to the playoff. And for those of you who can't picture the list in your mind, this was the list. Sonny Dykes at TCU is the one who ended up doing it. We had Lincoln Riley at USC, Kalen DeBoer at Washington, Brian Kelly at LSU, Dan Lanning at Oregon, Napier at Florida, Cristobal at Miami, Freeman at Notre Dame, Venables at Oklahoma. Some of those were preseason favorites to win their conferences. I thought it was a virtual slam dunk. Someone on that list is going to the playoff. Sure enough, the one we would have put dead last is the one who ended up doing it, Sonny Dykes at TCU, which goes to show you for the millionth time, don't laugh at predictions. Anybody who predicted TCU to the playoff would have been laughed out of the room in May and October, and yet they pulled it off.
Guys, thanks for watching Late Kick. Make sure to leave a comment. I love interacting with you. But most of all, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. That's how we keep all of this free.